Well, good evening, or maybe it's good afternoon. It depends on how your day's going. Thanks very much for joining me this afternoon. It's good to see a number of you here. And what I'll just ask is, as you join, if you can hear me, just put a hand up, and then I'll know that you're here. We've got a number of people registered for this little webinar, so it's good to see you all here and knowing what's going on. Oh, yep, that's good. So we've got Stan and Lee. Thank you very much. Colleen, yep. Miranda, that's outstanding. Alison, good to see you. Peter, hope the weather's fine there as well. Albert, okay, that's great. Yeah, there's a couple to come, but we'll just carry on. I suppose the easiest way is just to make a start, introduce myself, the Auckland Centre for Business Excellence, and obviously Action Coach. Who are we and what are we about? Well, it's really simple. We're part of Action Coach. Action Coach is the world's biggest network of business coaches, set up 25 years ago by Brad Sugars. We're in 90 countries and have over 1,600 coaches worldwide. So there's not a business we haven't coached or an area we haven't coached in. And we continue to learn and grow. The Auckland Centre for Business Excellence, well, that's my license for Action Coach. We're specialists in New Zealand, and we work with the small to medium business sector, and we specialise in growing and giving, I suppose, giving owners their dreams back. Most business owners I encounter started with a dream to build a business to enable them to live the life they wanted. Time, family, travel are all common themes. But I find that in over 90% of cases, the owners, due to sometimes the grind, unforeseen challenges, or the confused rhythms of their business, have lost sight or even thought of the dreams. So I work alongside these business owners to create the business, the profit, and the time they deserve to enjoy their dream. I do this by using proven systems, using Action Coach systems, a degree of imagination and innovation, a lot of simplicity and support that is specific to their business, their goals and their dreams. It's sort of a collaborative adventure. And typically we get 40% improvement in profit and at least a 20% reduction in the amount of time on the tools or in the business. I mean, you just have to imagine how this freedom, this power, this support could impact you, your business, and your life. That's Action Coach and the Auckland Centre for Business Excellence. A little bit about me, you'll see there, I raced a Thundercat. I was the captain of the New Zealand team for a couple of years. We raced test matches against Australia and South Africa. Underneath that, you'll see a really good looking photo of me. I've done 5 corporate Fight for Life, corporate boxing. I'm a trumpet player. I've won New Zealand and Australian titles, and on one of the cups last year, I won the New Zealand Brass title as a musical director, conductor, and all those cups we won. In the middle, you see my family. That's my wife, my daughter, and the 2 Chaos and Mayhem, my sons, who are the ones up in the top right. And then photo of my wife. We travelled to a prize giving. She received an award from the United Nations for work with education and developing KPIs around that. So, what are we here to do? What are we here to learn about and think about today? Now, what's going to happen is through this next bit of session, 6 keys to a winning team, please inundate me with questions. Any questions you have, just throw them at me. If I can answer them through the seminar or the webinar, I will. But there's a possibility I'll wait till the end because, you know, I've got a certain time frame. It's 30 odd minutes to get through this. And at the end, I'll try and answer all the questions. And if you are short on time, then obviously you can just leave. The 6 keys to a winning team. Selecting the right people or getting the right people on the bus is just the start of building a winning team. There are 6 elements to a successful team. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through them now. So the first thing we need to do is just make you think about the teams that you're a part of. Many business owners that I speak to say, oh, well, I'm just a one-man band or I'm a consultant. I just want to clarify this to start with. The first thing is that your team is a number of people. Your team, you are surrounded by 5 teams. The first team is on the top there, the staff. That's the people that you employ, contract to work with you and aim for your goals and drive your company forward. That's the easy one to think of as your team. But we need to also consider that your suppliers are part of your team. Imagine if you could lead your suppliers. Imagine if they're part of your team and they're working to your goals to achieve what you want. Then on the other side, there's your business network. These might be other tradesmen, construction people, professional services, or people in the same industry, but they might be part of your BNI. They might be part of your a friendship base that are in business. These are your network. Imagine if they were working, if you could lead them and turn them into a team to work with you. On the bottom of the screen, you'll see clients. Your clients are part of your team. It's simply from buying off you, being part of your team, taking your goods and services, to paying you. Imagine if you could lead them and they all were working, all singing the same song. And the 2 F's, friends and family. You know, we don't exist as islands. And if you can get your friends and family working with you, working for you, supporting you, knowing what you're doing, then indeed you're on the way to a very, very bright and successful business career. Your team is all of these, and you need to use these 6 keys in all of these areas. The first thing you need to have in a team is strong leadership. The style of leadership isn't as important as the quality of leadership. You can be yourself, have the own things you like, sense of humor, etc. All the individual stuff about you is fine. There is no one way to be a strong leader. But the hallmark of a strong leader is passion and responsibility. People always respond well to people that are passionate about their jobs, their businesses, their lives. It's contagious. A team that's led by a passionate person will be passionate about performance, will be motivated to perform at their best. Passion and enthusiasm. Go forward. People want to follow. But in addition to being passionate, you have to be responsible. This is saying what you're going to do and doing it and taking responsibility all the way down the track for what you've said and the outcomes. If you've given all the resources you need to your team and there is something happen, you're the leader. Take responsibility and go forward. And go forward all the time. Keep the team's needs, training, and all resources they need up to date, and work harder on yourself than you do on them. Read books, watch seminars, watch webinars like this. Well done. Be the best leader you can be. Remember, you always get the people on your team you deserve. Be a strong leader, be a great leader, be a passionate leader, and be a responsible leader, and you'll get better people. We all know what a V8 car is. Well, your team is a double V8, and there are 16 cylinders to high performance. By having your people there, you have the mind and the body. But by being a responsible and passionate leader, you get a bit more. The mind and the body give you 6 cylinders of the high performance team. That is, they'll turn up and they'll do what they can. But if you can have their heart, if you can have their spirit with passion, responsibility, and involvement, then you'll get the next 10. And this is indeed 16 cylinders of high performance. Anyone can be a manager, managing the mind, managing the body, getting them there, making them do certain things. But a leader has their heart and has their spirit. Remember that the quality of life is what you're responsible for. In your quality of life, the quality of mentor and teacher is the quality of knowledge and education. The better the mentor, the better the teacher, the better the education. The better the knowledge, the better the education, the better the beliefs and dreams. You can only dream what you can know. And this drives the quality of questions. So if you're the leader, the passionate leader, the responsible leader, then you'll drive the questions they ask you, because they know that when they ask you, you will answer. This will help with the quality of their decisions, because they know that you're trying to help them, you're working for them, you know their beliefs and dreams, you're a passionate, responsible leader, their quality of decisions. Obviously, if we make better decisions, we have better actions, and interestingly enough, quality of results. This is the way it goes. You are the mentor, the teacher, the leader. Quality of education, training you give to your people, the beliefs and dreams they have will drive the questions, the decisions, the actions and the roles you want, the goals and outcomes you want. So that's the first thing. The second thing is common goals. Your common goals start really with the vision of your business. The vision leads to the mission, and the mission leads to the goals. You have to enroll and inspire your team into your business, responsible and passionately. You have to have goals that they all know what they're meant to achieve, what the company is. We're not just coming to work to do this. What are we going to achieve in this time frame? Your goals are specific outcomes that, when achieved, help you accomplish your mission and fulfill your vision. By setting goals, you give your business direction and focus, as well as movement and momentum. Everybody needs to have individual goals. The individual goals add up to the company goal, and this helps the business progress. Remember to always use SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. If you can't measure it, you simply can't manage it. Goals have to mean something. If you cannot put a number on it, it's not a goal. So if you want service for your company, if you're a service company or a construction company or a trades company, if you cannot say, we want the phone answered in this number of times, then it's not a goal. It's no point saying, we want the phone answered quickly. Quickly is not a goal. Quickly is dependent on the person. If you have goals you want done, or delivery of certain things you want done in a certain time frame, the time frame has to be really, really specific. Specific, SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, reasonable, and time-bound. You also have to inspect what you expect. That is, if you set a goal, you've got your company goals, this much sale, this much profit. The goals that you set to this, you have to inspect them. Have timelines that you know what's going on. And remember that constant communication is constant direction. If someone's not achieving their goals, then they shouldn't have to wait till right at the end of the time frame till you say, oh, you haven't got there. By constant communication, you will get constant direction. You will become constantly the mentor. You will become the great leader. Remember that communication is the reaction you get. If you go up to a team member and say you haven't achieved your goal and they look surprised, that's because they are, because you haven't constantly communicated where transparency and visibility is important. Remember, it's not about bonuses or commission. What is it about? It's about recognition, internal and external. So that means that you don't have to just pay them more money, give them more stuff. It's about telling them what you expect, watching them and helping them achieve it, and then congratulating them when they get there. The third tenet, or the third rule of great teams, is rules of the game. KISS. 82% of employees are disengaged in the employment of the company they are in. Why? Setting the rules of the game, or the norms for your company culture, or your company's liberal, means simply telling your team members effectively what they can and can't do, what the behaviors are that will get your company to be successful. The bottom line is that rules of the game happen when everybody buys in, when everybody knows. For example, if one of the rules of your game is a simple thing, we start work at 8 o'clock in the morning, then it's not just a case of you telling them to start at 8. It's a case of getting them all to agree they have to start at 8 o'clock. If they don't start at 8 o'clock, what are the ramifications? How does this work? If we want the phone answered this way, welcome to Kerry's powder coating company. If that's a rule, then if it doesn't happen, everyone has to agree what the net outcome is. The stronger the rules of the game, the better the disciplines. The better the disciplines, the better the deliverables. As the standards raise, some people won't come with you. There's a really, really good book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. They talk about on the bus. And this is about rules of the game. If everybody is on the canoe, rowing, or should I say paddling one way, if you've got 10 people, you want all 10 going this way. In most businesses I encounter, we've got 4 going this way, 3 with their paddles in the air, 2 dragging their paddles in the water, and wait for it, 2 paddling backwards. As you get clearer and clearer and clearer on rules of the game, people will leave. Think of rules of the game like a rugby field. Loose or tight. If you think of a game of soccer or a game of rugby or any game of sport you play on the beach with your friends, usually the rules are quite loose. It's just a case of a bit of fun, and that's the outcome. But the further up the scale you go of sport performance, the tighter the rules get. You know, in every sport now, in nearly every sport, we've got video referees, we've got people looking back, we've got this happening, so that they get the rules dead right. Everybody knows. The tighter the rules, the tighter the culture of the organisation, and everybody knows the tighter the context. That is, if you can do this in this point of view, you can't do it in others. The tighter the rules, the tighter the behaviours, the tighter the rules of the game, the better. Nothing can fall out of the rules of the game. Everything's in there. Standard of dress, how you behave, how you talk, how you communicate, what you do, your performance of your business. The fourth key thing in Keys to a Winning Team is an action plan. We've agreed you're going to be a passionate and responsible leader. We've agreed you're going to have company goals, a vision and a mission. We've agreed you're going to have rules. This is what you need to do. But an action plan is about everybody getting to the same place at the same time. Everybody knowing exactly what they are going to do. We all have goals and behaviour that we link strongly with rules of the game. So as a strong leader, you must have given thought to and worked with all your members to give them the individual action plans to make it work. The action plan is like the Lego of your picture. Develop the strategies that lay down what you need to do to make it work. Your action plan is about who does what by when. It's important that everybody knows exactly what they need to do by when. Numbers, imperatives, positional contracts, systems manuals, your plan, and so on. Like rules of the game, piles of paper, piles of processes, piles of rules of the game, piles of action plans add up to piles of cash. Oh, there's a good question. Question from Stan. I'll just take this question and throw it in here now. Stan said, with regards to rules of the game, how in depth should we go? Well, actually, I suppose that depends on how successful you want to be. A really good example of rules of the game are McDonald's. When you go to a McDonald's store, when you go in, this will be your experience. If you went into a McDonald's and didn't have that experience, you'd be surprised. Why? Because every McDonald's in the world has the same processes, like the franchise rules make it work. How you answer the phone. Welcome to Kerry's Powder Coater, you're speaking to Kerry. That is a rule of the game. The message, I'm sorry, Bob's not available at the moment. I'll give Bob this message and then he'll give you a call within 120 minutes. Bob knows that he must call this person back within 100 minutes. The client's been told 120 minutes. By delivering at 100 minutes, guess what? We've exceeded his expectation. Colleen said it sounds like a lot of work. It's actually not that much work because a lot of rules of the game, a lot of behaviour in what we do is accepted and the norm. A best example of this actually is being late to work. A lot of business owners I encounter have a problem with people being late to work. Well, the bottom line is that how this is not hard to deal with. I know there's always reasons, but things like the alarm, traffic, etc. are unacceptable. So it has to be dealt with before it happens, so that when it does happen, the employee knows that this is not good. So during the first interview or the first group interview or the first conversation, one of the questions should be, so Bob, how reliable are you? You know, we start work at 8 o'clock. You know, are you going to be late? Because it's one of our rules, we're not late. Bob's obviously at the first interview going to go, well, I'm not late, I blah, blah, blah. Second interview, you ask the same thing. In the induction thing that you do the first week, it's about this is what happens when you're late. Then when he is late, it's not a case of performance management straight away. It's a case of, hey, Bob, when we talked about this, we talked about it being not acceptable to be late. How do we work with you? It's just rules of the game are vitally important. The fifth thing we have to think about is supporting risk-taking. You must be prepared to take risks. If you don't, your team will always lag behind you and they won't take risks either. There is no middle ground. Remember, your business is like a tree. It's either growing or it's dying. So if as the owner of the team builder or the team leader or the manager, you don't encourage your team to take a little bit of business risks, the business will progress conservatively towards its goal. Now, that's not suggesting they break the rules of the game or they don't take action. If you agree that the rules of the game is we shall not sell anything at less than this margin, then that's a rule. If we agree that this should be our deliveries, then that's a rule of the game. But you have to support them to take risks. That is, look at this and go, okay, this is what we're going to do on this occasion. So if the rules of the game are agreed and written down, then you've got to allow your team to take risks around this. This freedom drives involvement and drives engagement, which, as we discussed earlier, is very low in most businesses. Good question from Alison. So how do we support risk-taking but don't get decisions made that are stupid and put our business at risk? Excuse me. Good question, very good question. It's about them understanding the business goals, the vision, the mission, them understanding the rules of the game, and then having their own action plan. So that when a client rings up, take an example, a client may ring up and say, oh, I need 20% discount to make this work. Then the staff member can look at this as a one-off and go, is this achieving our mission, our goals? If I own the business, how will this work? What are the rules of the game? It's a case of supporting them to make these decisions and making them well. A breakthrough normally happens after a breakdown, a break apart, or a breakup. What this means is that when people make mistakes, it's normally one of these things. That's a breakdown of communication, a break with what's happening in your deliverables or in your mastery of what's going on, a breakup of a relationship, that is, someone's gone somewhere and done something they shouldn't, or a break apart, that is, normally we can't get hold of someone. So these breakthroughs they are an education thing. Go back. The quality of your team is based on the quality of your leadership, the passion, the responsibility, the learning. Leadership and teams are a mirror. So if you've got a team that doesn't appear happy, it's you as the leader that needs to be happier, that needs to be more responsible, more communicative. If you've got a team that's churning, that is people leaving, then look in the mirror. Something that someone is doing is causing them to do this. And we'll get to that right now with the 6th rule. 100% involvement and inclusion. You need to make sure that everybody in the team is involved. And this involvement must be 100% with 100% of the team members. By implementing the first 5 points, this should happen automatically. If you tell your people you want to be a strong leader, and you're responsible and you're passionate, if they all know what the mission and the vision for the business are, and what the goals are for the business, and what their part in it is, and how they all fit together. If you can see and say, okay, where are the rules of the game? How does this work? If these are our visions and if this is our vision and our mission, how do these rules of the game support this? All the team have an action plan, so if they all do their little Lego bits, it will get to the big one. They know they've got an inch of authority, an inch of autonomy, an inch of getting it done. That's exactly how it should be. It creates many, many things. It creates a synergy. That is 1, 2, 3, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 1, excuse me, doesn't equal 2, it equals 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what happens when you get all of these things together. Lock it in with rituals that people may change, but the team sticks together. Rituals are spelt this way. Why? Celebrate success. When you get to something, tell them you're the strong, passionate, responsible leader. And this is what we're going to do. And our mission and our vision are these things, and this is what we're going to do. And we got there by following and doing these rules of the game. There are many, many rituals. The All Blacks are one of my favorite teams. They have rituals around many things. And it's most interesting if you read, there's 2 or 3 really good books on it. But one of the books I'd strongly recommend you read isn't an All Black book, it's called Good to Great. I've mentioned it before, from Jim Collins. And another really good book is this book here. It's Brad Sugar's latest book called Pulling Profits Out of a Hat. It's a great book. In fact, if you want a copy, come back to me and I'm sure we can do a deal. It's just made the New York Times bestseller list, $39.95. I'm sure we can do something to get you a copy of it. It's well worth reading. Another one that's really good, a really good book for reading about leadership is Simon Sinek, Leaders Eat Last. Why is this a good book? Leaders Eat Last. Because it's just that. One of the things the All Blacks do, which is really telling, is after they've played a test match, before they go and enjoy the beer and the celebration, win, lose or draw, they sweep out, they clean out the locker room. That's what they do. A ritual. But it's not just about rituals for celebration, it's about rituals for your rules of the game, your team meetings, your agendas. Rituals make the team. To finish up, a to-do list and a quick review. You'll see here, strong leadership, the 6 keys. You'll notice there's 7. Don't think this is a mistake. Strong leadership. I want you to mark this out of 100. And think of one thing you could do in the next 7 days to move up 1 point. Common goals. Rules of the game, action plan. Rules of the game again, support risk-taking, and 100% inclusion. Mark them all out of 100, and then think of one thing you could do in the next 7 days to move up 1 point. Why are rules of the game there twice? It's because most of the businesses I work with think that that's too hard. And I know it's not, and you'll know once you think about it. But every time you put a rule in place and you follow it up and you work with it with your team, it will improve what you do. Print this out and try it. See what you can do in 1 week. We've got a seminar, Be a Better Business Owner, growth seminar on the 23rd of August at the Takapuna Boating Club here in Takapuna. This will be our keynote and it'll be very interesting. Come along, go online or email me or email bdm@acbe.co.nz. We'll send you some information on it. It's a seminar where I'm sure it's an all-day seminar, so you're going to have to invest of your time to be there. Hey, look, we're near the end of this, and just some feedback. Your feedback is valuable to us, and we really do appreciate it. Come back to us if there's anything out to you'd like to learn. We've got another seminar running, actually another webinar, sorry, running on the 22nd of. I'm live. I've just got it wrong. Sorry, I've just been corrected. Just thank you very much for getting that through. We've got another webinar on the 12th of August, and this will be on the 5 ways to hyper grow your business. Now, this webinar will be available online for the next month or so. So, if you want to send it to anybody or watch it again, need any more information, come back to me directly. Love to get it to you. Now it's time to get into action. My name's Kerry Wood. I'm from the Auckland Centre for Business Excellence, and I'd love to hear from you, and so would my team. Send it to info@acbe.co.nz or simply kerry@acbe.co.nz. Hope you've had a great time. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks for your questions. And it's really great. And drive safe. God bless.